Right, welcome to today's Lunch and Learn webinar, WithoutWire, a warehouse management system on the go and in the cloud, brought to you by ArcherPoint and WithoutWire. Managing a warehouse is a lot like juggling chainsaws. There's always something to be concerned about, you have to pay attention, and you don't want to let anything drop. WithoutWire's mobile warehouse management system can help keep things running smoothly. Their warehouse management system is built on Microsoft technologies with a cloud subscription that leverages Microsoft Azure and provides integration to Active Directory for scalability and security. This powerful mobile inventory management system can help coordinate the data and needs from your warehouse to manufacturing to field service, helping you keep those chainsaws in the air. Our speaker today is Steve Dwyer, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at WithoutWire. Steve has been instrumental in shaping the company's go-to-market strategies and sales channels to allow scaling of the business to meet its exponential growth. Prior to WithoutWire, Steve spent 23 years with 3M in various channel and OEM selling roles and strategic marketing roles to grow new business adjacent to the core business. Currently, Steve is leading the expansion of WithoutWire to employ smartphones and tablet-based apps and expand its reach into strategic markets. In today's webinar, Steve and his colleague Jason will demonstrate how easy it is to use WithoutWire's WMS. So let's go ahead and get started. Steve, over to you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good afternoon, everyone, and a special thanks to ArcherPoint for sponsoring today's Use It Free workshop on the WithoutWire Inventory Science Warehouse and Inventory Management module. As Suzanne mentioned, we will be covering a little background on WithoutWire and what we're all about, and then getting into a demonstration with my colleague, Jason Jones. A brief introduction here, or agenda, as you can see. We will talk about inventory sciences, the product overview, and then get into the Use It Free workshop. We encourage questions along the way, and we do have a couple polling questions as well. We look forward to your input. When we talk about WithoutWire inventory sciences, there's really three key ingredients that go into it. Our trusted advisor and partnership relationship with folks like ArcherPoint, the adaptive architecture of our solution built on the Microsoft technology stack, and the WithoutWire intuitive technologies. You'll see several throughout the presentation and demonstration today. When we think about WithoutWire and the best-of-breed functionality, it really revolves around the inbound processes and the outbound processes with value add in between, potential field service as an additional extension of your business for work orders, service tickets, jobs, with consumption out in trucks, trunks, and other closets of inventory or project sites of inventory. Of course, we have administrative capabilities around ABC cycle counting, full physical inventory, stock rotation, inventory adjustment capability, so you have real-time visibility to your inventory at all times so you can make the most informed business decisions. As a company, WithoutWire was founded in 2001. We have years of distribution and manufacturing experience on our team with a host of senior architects ready to get started with your project and workflow needs. WithoutWire, as a proven solution, has over 1,200 active sites around the world. We have the real-time dynamics integration with a unique methodology in how we scope, design, and deploy your solution with multiple levels of capability. For some, that could be starting with a physical inventory count, moving to a base implementation, adding manufacturing as a second phase, or adding field service or additional sites as a second or third phase, all designed to optimize your return on investment. We serve clients such as Combat Medical, which had expiration date, serial date, and lot tracked inventory they needed to keep track of. there's a case study video of that implementation, so you can see our system in action in their environment. I'll pause here and turn it to Suzanne for poll number 1.
All right, so our poll is now up. If you would please respond. Do you have an Apple or Android smartphone or tablet? Please select the answer that applies to you. And we'll give it just a moment. Almost everybody has voted. Again, thank you for your responses. And as we suspected, Steve, 100% of our responses say yes, of course.
Okay,
We're going to close our poll.
Thank you. One of the things that is kind of unique about WithoutWire is we have actually sunset Windows mobile devices, those rugged devices you might think of in the past. We've chosen the more higher performance and the devices of Apple and Android, smartphones and tablets, to give us better ease of use and more functionality to kind of take the thinking out of that warehouse worker who's moving from task to task. And we're fortunate in that the leaders in the industry in devices, such as Motorola, purchased by Zebra, the maker of Zebra printers, and Honeywell, purchased by, Intermec, purchased by Honeywell, another leader in the industry, have introduced Android rugged long-range scanners. So we have, and you'll see later from Jason's demonstration, a variety of different device options that you have. And so just a real nice fit with the power and performance that these devices can deliver. Not to mention, you already own them, and so in some cases, it does not mean any additional investment to use our system. We're always watching the hot trends from Microsoft, as one example, where the CEO, Satya Nadella, talks about a mobile-first, cloud-first world. And Microsoft is focused on boosting customer engagement, providing mobile personal computing, reinventing productivity and business processes, and looking to create cloud infrastructure to turn digital assets into intelligent insights. So we're always checking to see how well we are aligning with Microsoft's strategy. Of course, you may be familiar with some of the social trends on Use It Free that are happening with that immediate availability. I can download the app, put in my credit card, and call that Uber cab ride. Hopefully some of you have tried this. It is quite an experience if you're used to the old taxi approach. Also looking at Microsoft General Manager Marco Peristic's comments about customer buying habits that are changing. Customers are informed buyers. They have instant access to products they're buying and can try them in seconds. They're not being hunted. They are the hunters. So we took that to heart. And again, that social trend of use it free and have it now, I don't know how many of you use weather apps or music apps. We talked about Uber, and even Facebook is becoming more and more important to the business world. Also, if you think about TurboTax, we don't have a polling question on this, but I'm guessing many of you have tried the TurboTax Online, where you can use it free. You know exactly what you owe or what your refund will be to Uncle Sam before you have to pay anything for the system. And similarly, we have a use it free system to get you started fully experiencing our product. It's not a trial version, it is our full version of our software that we spin up in the Microsoft Azure cloud for you, with you and your colleagues as users on your mobile, smartphone, or tablet, which all of you have now, we know from the polling question. And you have the ability to use your items and your bins to have a real-life simulation of the WMS system in place. So if you look at the home page of our website, this is what you'll find following that trend of social, use it free, having an app-based system available now. This happens to be the Zebra very rugged Android-based device called the TC8000. This happens to be a Kindle Fire could be an iPad, can be paired with Bluetooth scanners that Jason will also share with you later. So, polling question number 2, Suzanne, and as you bring the poll up, I can read the question here. Would your company benefit from tracking inventory by lot number, serial number, or expiration date, or manufactured date?
Right, and as you vote, your options are select one. I'm tracking this information on paper, and it's challenging. I want a mobile inventory system to help me get started. I just want my inventory rotated FIFO. So Steve, as the responses are coming in, it looks like the majority of people are option number 2. They want inventory system to help them get started, and about 25% are they just want their inventory rotated first in, first out. So with that, I'll close the poll.
Great, thanks for that input, everyone. This is meant to be an interactive session today, so I appreciate that feedback, and that reflects pretty typical of what we see coming in every day in terms of our app downloads for this user-free experience. Many of them are just starting with basic items. They see sometime in the future they may want lot tracking or expiration date items, particularly in the food industry or beverage industry, perhaps pharmaceutical industry. Others have serialized parts where it might be assets out in the field. It could be a field service type of application. But the good news is we can service all clients in that regard. And really it's about getting barcode scanning efficiency in place fast and then expanding later if needed. Talking about some of the key verticals, medical, biopharma, pharmaceutical, there are certain federal acts that are being coming forward and driving some demand for us. Others could be just looking for more efficiency in their operations. But the Drug Supply Chain Securities Act is something you may be familiar with and something which may be driving your interest in inventory management. There is a lot of details behind this. I'd love to dive deeper with any of you in this area, but really the ability to do these 3 things, including facilitating more efficient recalls of drug products, is what it's really all about, and getting better traceability of your inventory, particularly when we're talking about things as serious as drugs and biopharma related. Also, watching closely the Food Safety Modernization Act, where there are preventative controls being put in place around inspection and compliance, particularly looking at imported food and the safety of it. I read today about the airlines are finding listeria in one of their food caterers in the California area, and they're taking measures and action immediately where they're not allowing that caterer to provide food. They are actually providing vouchers to their customers so that they can get some food perhaps at the airport before they fly. Okay, so we'll continue on. Let's take a look at our food and beverage clients as a vertical. We have clients moving and tracking their yeast inventory, sugar substitute, dairy, condiments for the restaurant industry, whipped toppings, which is timely given Thanksgiving is right around the corner, right? So they're in peak season, no pun intended. We have animal feed and pet food clients as well, as you might imagine, along with beverage, whether it's cola, wine, microbrew, and others in that area of beverage. If you look at our vertical in med, biopharma, chemical, and consumer packaged goods clients, it gets rather large, but you can see a heavy concentration of pharma at the top here, medical. In some cases, they're creating in a laboratory arteries and veins, and then allowing those to be moved to customers in hospitals that need those artificially grown bio materials. But we also have clients that are in marine, in furniture distribution, in chemical manufacturing or plastics manufacturing, and janitorial supplies and materials that can be manufactured and distributed. So a wide cross-section of clients that we serve, including field service clients, clients with distributed inventory, perhaps doing installations of home security or HVAC, and even telecom and electronics and oil and gas. You can see the variety of different industries we're serving in this regard. If you look at recent clients who've come on board using Microsoft Azure's cloud, we've got a wide variety here as well, including some you might recognize, such as Swisher Suites. So we have verticals of field service, tobacco, phone accessories, carpeting, wholesale jewelry, and biopharma. So again, a wide cross-section. Speaking of field service, I wanted to give a workflow illustration of what we're talking about. Because you have your ERP, perhaps NAV, you have a job creation tool that might be scheduling and dispatching jobs, but mobile real-time inventory tracking on trucks and trunks and project sites is that third component that's important for that complete solution. So you may have, in addition to NAV, you might have a variety of different field service tools doing these types of tasks. But what we want to talk about is the WithoutWire component that really brings this all to life in a real-time sense. So if we look at this illustration, we can, from NAV, create a PO. In our system, we'll do the receiving and report those results back to NAV. Then you may transfer inventory out to a satellite warehouse or to a tech's truck or a tech location. They may issue parts. We might replenish parts to the truck based on min-max settings of those inventory levels, so we never run out. Then when they get to the job site, they can consume parts, perhaps upsell and add additional parts to that order. We want to be able to real-time communicate with the job management tool, recording consumption through our API integration, and return parts that were not used, provide a real-time record of what was installed and what needs to be invoiced to that client. Ultimately, those returns can move all the way back for refurb, restock, or return to vendor. And of course, we want to be able to do the real-time cycle counting of that inventory in those trucks. Some of our clients have added additional software which has GPS tracking. So if I'm short parts, rather than go back to the main warehouse, maybe I'll meet one of my colleagues, Truck 68, at a coffee shop, and we'll do a real-time exchange of parts, keeping headquarters informed of all those inventory movements. We also spend a lot of time in building our solution around the ability to do what we call cross-site moves, whether it's warehouse 1 to warehouse 2, or warehouse 2 to warehouse 3, or techs 1 and 2 that are tied to warehouse 2, easily transacting goods with tech number 3, who's tied to a different warehouse. So it gets kind of complicated, but we've tackled it all and would love to explore that if that's of interest to your company. A schematic of how we approach this. So you have your NAV database, either on-premise or in the cloud. We can be on-premise or in the cloud as well. But through the Smart Connect or API integration, NAV is still the master of items, customers, vendors, purchase orders, sales orders, and invoicing. They may or may not have lots and bins turned on in NAV. Our clients may choose to do all of that within our system, where we do purchase order receiving, sales order fulfillment, replenishments and transfers, inventory adjustments in our system pushed back to the ERP so you have that real-time synchronization. So just very high level, the purchase order is created, it flows into our system. When the truck arrives, we do the receiving and we report the results back to Navision. Sales order created, we do the pick efficiently, serpentine throughout the warehouse, we pack, print final documents, and shipped from the handheld so that you can invoice that customer same day, same hour. In addition, when we talk about receiving, we have the ability to collect item attributes. So perhaps you have your purchase order, number 1038. There's an item number on there with a quantity to be received of 20. You may receive the initial 5, and then capture additional information, such as, did this arrive at the correct temperature? What was the vendor lot number? We know our lot number we're going to assign is 123, but the vendor's lot is 3456. What is the manufacturer date of this item? You lock in those values, and you can rapidly receive the additional 15 parts. Another example is to capture the item, lot number, quantities, expiration dates, and national drug code at unit dose. Again, lock in those values and rapidly receive additional materials. So these attributes can be country of origin or any type of capture you're looking for. At the conclusion, you have the ability to grab the truck driver's external signature, and that will carry on to our web console, which is the other interface in addition to our mobile device. For some in the biopharma area, they have additional disclaimers that they want as part of that signature, saying that I have requested and received the indicated samples for the medical needs of my patients. So all kinds of things that these industries are taking us into, including one of the new exciting features is the ability for a customer of yours or a field technician to request inventory. They can peruse through your warehouse inventoried items, select those, and further refine the quantities needed, get a confirmation screen and hit OK, generating a transfer order to be picked and staged or shipped out to the field technician or to your customer. So a lot of creative things can be done with this new feature. On our website, we also have a knowledge base, fully featured, basically a full user manual with many different ways you can ingest information, tutorials, YouTube videos, also articles where you can search for any topic, such as what is picking, and get a variety of articles on that subject to dive deep into our solution. We have our APIs out there, so you can look and even look at sample API calls to help you on your way. We embed Microsoft Power BI in our solution, and you'll see this in Jason's demonstration, which we'll be getting to shortly. So we talked about hot trends following Microsoft's lead, but also trends in mobility. We're watching what's happening in drones and Google Glass or other types of glass, wearables such as the Apple Watch. What could these mean for field service technicians or for our warehouse workers? You can see an Android tablet mounted on a forklift with a Bluetooth scanner powered through the forklift. But it's not just about cost savings that we have chosen to go the path of iOS and Android devices. It's also about speeds, user interface, and performance, up to 15 times faster in some cases due to the improved processing power, CPUs. You can mount an iPad, lock it down, pistol grip an iPhone, put a wrapper to semi-ruggedize your phone or iTouch or Android phone, wearables such as a wrist strap, some of our customers are using today, and we talked about the forklift mounts. We have multilingual capabilities, which can be very handy for your workforce in the warehouse. And really, transforming these trends into a business solution is all about driving return on investment, whether it's labor efficiency gains, removing redundant data entry, or eliminating data entry errors through scanning those long charactered items or quantities, taking some of the memorization out of processes where we drive our warehouse workers to the next task, avoid retraining with an intuitive interface, and having scalability so that you don't need to rip and replace a solution that you take pride in implementing with us. We are an award-winning application named one of the top 50 useful apps for managing inventory, shipping, tracking, workflow, and more. In fact, you can find us on Google Play or App Store. If you haven't already gone out there, I'd invite you to go out there, type in WithoutWire, all one word, and you should see an app that looks like this so that you can get started with your use-it-free experience. With that, I'm going to check with Suzanne to see if there's any questions at this point as I turn it over to Jason to lead the demonstration and the use-it-free workshop. Suzanne, how's it looking?
No questions thus far, but hopefully we'll have some as Jason shows us the demo.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Steve and Suzanne. Again, my name is Jason Jones. I'm a product consultant here at WithoutWire. Today we'll be going through the use-it-free experience. So, like Steve mentioned, you can download the app on Google Play or the App Store. Download it to your tablet. You can also sign up through our web console, going to the website, clicking on the Use It Free icon. Once in the Use It Free login, it will ask for an email address. We will send you a verification code. Once you're verified, you can start playing with our system free of charge. So again, what you're looking at on the screen is our web console. This will primarily be used with administrators or foremen on the shop floor. The mobile device shown right here is my iPhone 6, and we'll be going through some mobile device options here in a little bit after we go through setup. But when you sign into the web console, you're greeted with a Power BI dashboard. This can be customized to fit your needs through SQL Server reporting services. It's a great way to track employee performance and any kind of metrics that you'd like to look at on a daily basis. So for example, this can be blown up to fit a full screen, and will identify, in this case, problem vendors. So again, those can be customized depending on what you'd like to see once you're greeted with that web console every time you would sign in. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the inbound console, inventory operations, outbound console, and also some business intelligence reporting and system maintenance. That'll help with setup here in a little bit. On the top right, you'll see that we're currently signed in as support. You can update your profile or sign out. You can also toggle between sites that you have set up on your use-it-free warehouse site. Right now we're in warehouse. I could toggle between warehouse 2 if I would like. Also have access to our support center. So if you have any questions or support cases, you can submit it directly from the web console as well. If you have a quick question, we do have the chat feature on the bottom right. So if you have any questions on where anything is located or get any quick hitting questions, feel free to get to us on the chat function. So once you're signed in, we can go to system maintenance and update users. Well, I'll direct you to security user maintenance first. So if you want to sign up your colleagues, you can do that here by simply clicking add. It'll allow you to create a username back with an email, temporary password, and also assign them a site and security group. You'll notice a few available groups here. Each group has different access capabilities, both on the web console and mobile device. And those can be updated in this system maintenance security list groups. So once inside, say if you want to address the roles of a warehouse individual, you can go into warehouse group and check and uncheck boxes to give those individuals access to those tiles. So in this case, on the smartphone or tablet, they would not have all 20 tiles that I have on my mobile device because I have administrative access. This warehouse individual would only have a few select tiles to complete their daily workflow tasks. Staying in system maintenance, you can also create and edit a site. So if you have multiple sites throughout the country or area, you can add them and create and edit site pretty easily. Just type in the site name, create new site. You can add address information as well as fax and ERP system. and you can toggle between and update those as you go along. Again, most of our clients are integrated through their ERP, but while you're playing around with the system on the Use It Free site, you can go to the data setup tools and business and system maintenance. We do have our templates out there where you can upload inventory, purchase orders, bill of materials, vendors, etc. And our templates look like this. So this inventory template has green and gray columns. You would need to fill out the green columns. Those are required. The gray are optional. So again, you can add inventory very easily through those data setup tools. Back to the home screen, I'll pull up my mobile device. Again, I have an iPhone 6 with a Linea Pro boot scanner on it, which a Linea Pro is a consumer device. Some of the other devices here that we have is that tablet that you saw in Steve's demonstration with the socket mobile scanner. That's Bluetooth capable and can be mounted to a forklift. We also have a couple Zebra devices here. The one on the bottom is the TC8000. The item on the top is the Zebra TC56. Taking a tour of the mobile device, again, you'll see that I have 20 tiles on my phone. That can be reduced depending on what you have access to. The hamburger menu on the top left, if we select the hamburger menu, we'll see that we're signed in as John Doe. You do have the capability to toggle between warehouses using the hamburger menu. But we also have access to our knowledge base directly from the mobile device as well, and also sign out and live support. The search feature is a great value-added item that we've incorporated. You can add a partial description for any item throughout the warehouse. It will do a search, bringing up the item with the 3-letter sequence or greater. So in this case, I just set up my warehouse as a pharmaceutical company with over-the-counter drugs. So I just typed TYL, it pulled up Tylenol, and it gave me every location throughout the warehouse that Tylenol would be located. Going back to the main screen, you'll see on the top right a barcode. We do have the capability to read barcodes directly from the mobile device. So again, if you're going through the Use It Free scenario, you might not have one of those commercial devices or the ruggedized devices, so you can use the barcode on the top right, and it will scan the barcode like so. Again, pull up that Tylenol and show everywhere where it is located. Going into some of the basic functionality of the application, you can add bins and items. If we click into the items, it's going to simply ask for a barcode. And again, we can open up the camera and go through and continue to add items. Again, that'll add items one at a time. You can use those data setup tools and system maintenance to bulk upload certain bins, items, inventory, etc. Moving along to the receiving tile. Once entering the receiving tile, we'll see different purchase orders that are assigned to this user. Again, an assistant administrator can assign different purchase orders or assignments to each individual throughout the warehouse depending on their role. In this example, I will go into PO01. And this purchase order has 3 lines. I can simply tap through the purchase order. So if I tap on the top line, it's going to bring me to the item detail. If everything is okay and there's 48 items in the purchase order, I can tap OK. You can also look at the options, and it gives you a couple different selections here. You can toggle between unit of measure. So if you don't want to count the 48 each, it's showing you that there's 2 cases as well as the each unit of measure. If you have multiple, it'll show them all. So in this case, I'll just OK the 48, and it will gray out that line I just received. And moving along to the middle line, the 1112, this item is lot tracked. So it's going to prompt for a lot number. I can enter that, and it's going to move on to the quantity. say this purchase order for the item 1112, let's say that's damaged. And the entire case was damaged, so we'll just say there's 24 damaged. So it's going to damage out that case. So 0 will be put into inventory, 24 will go to the damage. The final item on the bottom, if I swipe right to left while receiving inventory, it's going to give me the option to acquire barcode. And again, you may be using your camera, so I can just upload any barcode by clicking acquire barcode, tap into the barcode column. I will just scan an item in front of me. This is a G2 pen back. It'll ask for a unit of measure, and I will submit. So going forward, every time I scan that G2 pen, it's going to show me the 2223 or Motrin. So in this scenario, the 3 lines have been received. I can press OK to continue. It's going to prompt me to complete. I will say yes. And you'll notice that that PO01 is no longer in my receive screen. I can then go to the put away tile and put away that purchase order that we just received. It's showing the 2 lines. Again, we had a damaged item. So we will click into that top line. It's going to prompt me to put this inventory in the 2 locations that this item is located throughout the warehouse. So it's bin 1 and overstock. I'll put it in bin 1 as the primary bin. And again, that item has been removed from my put away task. I will continue on with the final item, pressing OK. And again, those damaged items are moved directly to the damaged bin. We'll complete the workflow of our purchase order with a picking of a sales order. So this middle tile, you'll see it's picking. We'll enter the picking tile, and just like the purchase orders, it's going to show all the different sales orders that are assigned to this user. So I can enter that top line, SO01. And a little bit different than receiving, when you're picking an order, it does require you to scan the barcode. So I can scan that top line. You will notice the options icon is illuminated. It again will allow you to toggle between unit of measure. You can also short this item or move to the next inventory location if you'd like to pick a different bin. So we'll go through some options here. Let's just say I'll short this top line. Again, it will be grayed out. We can then enter the middle line for 1112. It's going to auto-populate that lot and quantity. And again, you do have the options there on the bottom, showing you the unit of measure, short, and go to next location. We'll just say we do have this item in stock, and we will complete this sales order with the last 2 items. So 2223. I will press OK on the bottom. And you'll notice that all 3 lines are grayed out on the pick detail. We can press OK, and it'll ask us if we want to ship immediately. If you were going to stage the order, you can say no and go back into the web console and add a tracking number, truck seal, and some additional verification information. Right now, we will just say yes and complete that item. You can then print the license plate tag or pallet tag, as well as the bill of lading. So we pressed OK. That sales order is no longer in the system and has been shipped.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt Jason just a moment as we go through the Use It Free workshop. And we did have one of our callers go ahead and do the app download. And Kim, your system is now ready. I've activated your system. You should see an email from me so you can continue along as Jason's going through his workshop. So great job, Kim, and others. Please welcome. We welcome your downloads of the system.
Thanks, Steve. All right, so we just went through receiving, put away, and picking. You can obviously see there's plenty of other tiles here for us to go to. A quick one we can look at, we'll look at inventory adjustments. So if we enter the inventory adjustments tile, it's going to prompt us for a location that we are going to adjust the inventory. So if we want to just select a bin location, it's going to prompt you with the items in that location. So in this case, it's 0001. Unit of measure, you can break it down case or each. Let's just say we're looking at cases. And it's telling us there's 8 cases. We can say that we must have lost 1 case. So I'll put 7 in there, and it's going to automatically do the math for us and let us know how much this item has or will be adjusted in the system. You can change the type. We'll say damaged. And press OK. It's then going to prompt us for notes. So I'll put a note in. Let's say we dropped case and press OK. That note will be added to the system, and again, allows a little bit more traceability on your inventory. We do have a report in our report library that can show all of the inventory adjustments, as well as show you those notes and give you a little bit more background on what happened to the inventory and when. Again, we'll be going through those reports in our business intelligence section here at the end of the demonstration. Another important tile I'd like to show you is the cycle count tile. I have done a main screen scan, so again, that's another great tool that the system allows for. Any manager can go into the warehouse or production facility, do a main screen scan of any barcode, and again, it will bring up every location that that item has been located. So after doing the main screen scan, I'll swipe right to left on that line. It's going to give me 4 options to choose from. I can get the history of the item, I can request a count, I can acquire a new barcode, or make the inventory adjustment similar to what you just witnessed. So I'll just select count. It will be created into the system. So again, the system administrator can go in to the inventory operations section of our web console. And again, it's broken down by date, counter, and status. I'll just filter all. And it's showing that there's 1 count in progress. So again, you can assign various counts in our count assignment section. There'll be a drop-down list with all counts currently outstanding, and you can assign them to any user throughout the system. So this item has been assigned to myself. So I can go into the cycle count tile on the mobile device. It'll give me a rundown of all bin locations that have been assigned for this user to count. Just due to time, I uploaded the system with 1. So I'll click through and do a count on this item 1112, lot 5. And it breaks it down into lots. I will continue on. Notice it is a blind count. Again, just adds another level of protection for, again, doing those counts, ensuring that the counts are valid. So currently showing no counts. I can go, again, unit of measure, case, or each, and it's going to prompt me for a quantity. Let's just type in 300, and we'll select OK. The line is grayed out. We can keep going back and complete by selecting done. So that count has been completed. The system administrator or foreman can go back into this web console and go to the count console. This will give a rundown of completed counts. So you see that there's 1 count currently that needs review. It was assigned to that user. So the administrator can go into the details and notice that the system has been defaulted to recount anything greater or less than a 0 quantity variance. You also change that to %. So you'll notice that the check mark is in the recount box. This allows you to reassign to the same counter or a new individual throughout the warehouse if you'd like to, by just selecting recount items. If you don't want to recount the item and you want to take this 628 quantity variance, you can just update and complete. Again, the system will be updated with that quantity count going forward. Going back to the mobile device, you can set up primary pick in our configuration settings. So when you go into the system to set it up, go into configuration settings under system maintenance, and we have around 30 customizable configurations that are available to users. There's a whole bunch of different configurations on the back end that we can enable, but primary ones available to you would be like require internal or external signature. Steve did have an example of that in his presentation. You can again change your pick location to FIFO, FIFO, or primary. You can request an auto allocation or two-step pick. So this site is currently set up with primary bin pick priority. So if you create an overstock location, setting your inventory bins with minimum and maximums, it can auto-generate replenishment orders for users. So if I enter that replenishment tile, it's showing one line that's prompting me to replenish. So it's going to bring me to that move screen. It's going to move items from overstock to its inventory location bin 1, and it looks like it's going to move everything currently in overstock. So we'll press OK, and that replenishment order has now been removed from my assignments. Going back to the web console, we can look at some reports. So we'll go to the report list and show a couple of our primary reports that you might find interesting. The first would be inventory by item towards the bottom of that first page. You can look any item up by item number and warehouse. So let's just look at warehouse and that percentage sign for the wildcard. It's going to bring up the location and inventory for the 3 items that I have set up in this location. You can export in any format you'd like by selecting that from the drop-down and exporting. The one other report I would like to show you would be inventory adjustments. So again, we can break it down by item number or select percentage for all item numbers and run the report, and it'll give, again, the background reasons that you added in those notes are available through this inventory adjustments report. Again, that can be exported and can allow a little bit more traceability for managers and supervisors throughout the warehouse floor. So with that, I think my time is about up. I can turn it back over to Steve. Again, if you have any questions, I know we went through things very fast. If you do want a little bit more in-depth demo, feel free to give Steve a call, and we can definitely set something up, because this is just the tip of the iceberg for the functionality that the system can accommodate for you.
Great. Thank you, Jason. And just make sure I can transition back here to PowerPoint. Looks like we're there. Okay, and I'll do another check with Suzanne to see if there's any questions that have come in during Jason's demonstration.
Yes, we do have a question. Kim actually wants to know, does it interface directly to Dynamics NEV without having to import from Excel files?
Oh, great question. Yes, it definitely does. And our middleware, if you will, is from E1 Solutions. It's called Smart Connect, and I do have additional information, so I'll be happy to follow up with any and all of you on more information about that real-time integration that does not require the import and the export. Okay. Any other questions at this point?
That's all we have right now.
Great. Okay. I have just a few slides before we wrap up and do our final Q&A, and then we'll turn it back to Suzanne and make sure we get you guys out on time. So coming back to where we began, we talked about those 3 key ingredients as a trusted advisor in a partnership with ArcherPoint. The adaptive architecture, that Microsoft technology stack, and then those intuitive technologies. And hopefully you got a feel through Jason's presentation about things like Microsoft Power BI embedded in our dashboard for those real-time metrics. Also, request inventory, brand new feature, item attribute capture, main screen scan, quick lookup capability, intelligent license plates, and a variety of others, just to touch on a few of those. One of the things I do like to talk about is maybe a little bit of where we've been and where we're going in terms of events and resources available to you. Hopefully we've piqued your interest, and just looking forward, we have a variety of Dynamics-related events, such as a SL user group, but NAV, again, will have its user group summit in Phoenix, October 15 through 18 of 2018. So that's about 11 months away, but something to put on your calendar. We talked about our knowledge base, and here's that direct link to additional, full user manual, highly searchable, many videos and tutorials out there. We do blog on erpsoftwareblog.com, distributionsoftwareblog.com, and we do tend to do monthly recorded executive briefings around a variety of topics. So we're always switching those up. Just go to WithoutWire company webinars, and you'll find actually past recordings as well, things such as field service or manufacturing. So now I'll open it up for questions and turn it back to Suzanne here.
I did have a couple come in. So the first one is, do you integrate with EDI, shipping, and e-commerce platforms?
Okay, great question. Yes, we do. In terms of EDI, we've worked with several, anywhere from SPS Commerce to Lanham EDI to Sterling Gentran, and others such as True Commerce as well. Data Mason's another common one. Shipping, we do have a shipping partner called pacejet.com, if you want to go to their website and check that out, where you can get into things such as rate shopping. Not something native within our app, so we've partnered with the experts in shipping. And e-commerce, we have some actually writing to our APIs, so orders can come directly to our system. So a variety of different ways to accomplish that as well.
Next question is, what do you recommend for long-range scanning?
Okay, another great question. Smartphones and tablets inherently only can scan about 30 inches in distance or less. And so when 2 years ago now, Zebra, the leader in the industry, introduced the TC8000, we were very excited because that gave us that Android-based long-range scanning capability. That's one immediate example, and every day we're learning about new, exciting options in that regard.
Excellent. And the last question I have is, can I scan barcodes with the camera on my phone?
Yes, absolutely, and it works quite well. However, we kind of timed it out to, if you think you're doing more than 50 scans in an hour, say, you probably want one of these accessories to give you that rapid scanning capability, whether it's a boot on an iPhone or Android phone or a Bluetooth scanner, so you can rapidly scan those barcodes.
Excellent, great. Thank you so much for those answers, Steve. With that, I think that's all of our questions. Again, if you have anything else, please raise your hand, but doesn't look like it. So thank you everyone again for attending. We appreciate your time. We hope you consider it time well spent. Please take just a few more minutes to give us your feedback and let us know what other topics you'd like Lunch and Learn webinars presented on by emailing them to info@archerpoint.com. Again, that's info@archerpoint.com. Again, thanks everyone for your time. Thank you for your expertise. And this concludes today's session. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.